Left of the box. Here's
Enjoy that.
another one that I am blaming on Americans. I am blaming because up here in Canada, everything you see that happens down the States, it happens up here, but it's usually like on a time delay.
Yep, I've noticed that.
Which is really frustrating. So it's like you can look into the States and see the future to what's happening here in Canada. And this is a prime example of it. So
What
here's
stupidity is coming your way?
Yeah, here's Pierre Poilievre, potentially the next prime minister of this country, which just drives me crazy. And he says,
Yeah.
sign here to have a prime minister who doesn't admire basic communist dictatorships. Now, they're constantly saying that Justin Trudeau is the secret son of Fidel Castro because they have a resemblance. But then this is what he
Crazy.
tweeted out on his official account: how to do communism. Establish a new communist utopia. Rob or kill the successful. Force the rest to work for free. Run out of food. Starve to death. Say it wasn't real communism. Establish a new communist utopia. So
Uh,
apparently he is just going to local high schools to see what they're memeing about.
yeah, this meme looks familiar. Like I feel like I've seen it. Elon Musk might have shared it. This is just plagiarism.
Like I'm not read up on what communism actually is. I don't know the theory behind Marx and stuff of that sort. I find that I agree with a lot of the stuff that I hear coming out of it, and I can even tell you this is not accurate.
Yeah, there's not a single conservative that I've found yet that actually
Mhm.
knows what communism is or socialism.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
just a synonym for bad,
Yeah.
which is not very bright because if everything is communism, then nothing is communism.
Yeah.
So if you want that to be like, if you really want to start a new Red Scare, then you can't use it
Mhm.
so frequently. Otherwise, it's just going to lose all meaning.
Mhm.
But they use it so much that now it's just like, oh yeah, okay,
Mhm.
yeah, everyone's a communist, whatever.
But you see, this isn't the tweet that's making me mad at Americans. There's a follow-up tweet from Justin Trudeau who says, I think this guy needs to touch grass.
Oh, that's funny.
So there he is. Damn, he did something. He did a little clap back. Let me get this. Let me
That's
get
not
this.
bad. That is a good response. Oh
Dark
no.
Justin
Oh,
gave us a glimpse today.
Dark Justin. Oh wow.
I'm
It's
blaming
like
you.
yeah, look, fair. That's fair. It's just like an alternate bizarro America. Or maybe
Yeah.
we're a bizarro Canada where we're just living a little bit in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, I don't like it.
No, I don't like it either. There is so much to say about Justin Trudeau, like actual criticism and stuff like this, but okay, so he did a little quip here. Dark Justin, come on. No, no.
Yeah.
Can we just like, if we see this happening in the future, like what happens in the States happens up here, can't we just skip a level and go, skip over Pierre Poilievre and go to like a politician that's running for office that people are actually excited about for a change?
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
skip to our version of Kamala Harris. Like
Right. Yeah, that's a great point.
yeah, we should
Because
just be
you
able to
already
skip.
know.
We see the damage that would happen, and the people who follow Pierre Poilievre.
Oh, I mean, that makes sense.
Uh-huh.
I hate this mishmash of like American conservatism with Canadian conservatism because I
Mhm.
always, my perception as an American, right or wrong, has always been that Canadian conservatives are bad, but they're less extreme and more polite than American conservatives.
Mhm.
Like they might want queer people to die, but they're not going to say it. They'll find, different ways to say it. Um, Whereas, American conservatives are just like, yeah, throw them in blenders. I'm being hyperbolic,
Mhm.
obviously, but you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't like that there's kind of this like blurring of the lines.
Mhm. Well, the thing is that Pierre Poilievre, like, here, I'm going to switch back to just the two people view. Like, part of my frustration covering Canadian politics is you guys again.
Hmm.
Because we're
Rightfully
always
so.
so distracted by what's happening in the United States, we're never paying attention to what's happening up here.
Mm.
And what's happening up here is pretty bad.
Yeah.
Because Pierre Polyev, like when it comes down to it, we're not at risk as much as the United States. We do have more checks and balances here.
Hmm.
It doesn't mean that they can't find ways around it.
Yeah.
So Pierre Polyev has already threatened to use the notwithstanding clause should he get into power here in Canada. Now, what that means is we have superior courts here, and they can make rulings. And generally speaking, they do a good job. Not all the time, but far, far more. It's far less of a political institute than down in the States because there's an entirely different vetting process that they have to go through. So generally speaking, the way our superior courts rule are in line with the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, which is good. But the notwithstanding clause was put into the Charters of Rights and Freedoms for premiers and potentially prime ministers to say, you know what, I know this is how the Superior Court ruled in favor of people's rights, but I don't like it. So I'm going to subvert that with this kind of nuclear tactic of, no, we're going to use the notwithstanding clause to get our own way. So an example of this is in Saskatchewan, which is another Canadian province up here. They have Scott Moe, who is responsible for killing someone through an accident, driving, well, potentially drunk, and they're really apologizing for it way back when. On a provincial level, they did the same things that are happening down the States, where they're like, okay, if a child is trans in schools, they have to make it so that, you know, they have to tell the parents or out the child to the parents or misgender the student in class type thing. We have that same thing going on up here. And that went to the Supreme Courts here. And they ruled in favor of the trans children and protecting them. So then Scott Moe was like, yeah, no, I don't like it. So then he put in the notwithstanding clause. So it has to be renewed every 4 years. But for the next 4 years, he's just overridden it. And there's nothing you can do about it because that's in response to if the Supreme Courts do a poor judgment. So this is above the courts. And it's stupid. And we shouldn't have this clause in the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. But it was put there because of Quebec.
Yeah, especially unilaterally be able to do that.
Well, they just have to get their party to vote on it and it goes through. But if you're a majority, it's going to go through. So Pierre Polyev has threatened to use it for bail reform only.
That's how it starts. One thing and then it goes to other
Just
things.
like,
That's really frustrating.
yeah, just like Trump says he'll only be a dictator for one day.
Yeah, that's what all dictators say. Let me just try it a little bit.
Because Pierre Polyev has also said that, and we're going to be talking more about this in just a moment, you know, women's spaces for cis women only type thing. And all that sort of trash. Like,
same shit.
Again, people don't know how bad it's getting up here in Canada because they're not paying attention because of the States. Whereas we have examples that are even far worse and pathetic than what you guys have down in the States. Because, like, you look at somebody like Ted Cruz, and everyone loves to laugh at him, how he licks the boots of Donald Trump after Donald Trump said his wife was ugly and accused his, what was it, father of assassinating JFK or something like that.
Right.
Really bad. But then you see that picture of him phone banking.
Yeah.
Well, here, Pierre Polyev, a right-wing, like ultra right-wing group here called Diagolon, the members of it, the leaders of it, said that Pierre's wife should be sexually assaulted, but not in the YouTube-friendly language that I'm using right now. And then not too long ago, you see him getting out of a trailer while he's cozying up to those people.
Oh, wow. That's not good.
No.